Let's get right into it. Number 8, the name game. Your name is basically a dopamine trigger wrapped in syllables. When someone hears their own name, their brain lights up like a slot machine hitting triple sevens. The medial prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain obsessed with you, goes absolutely wild. It's like hearing your favorite song, except the song is just your identity. So here's the creepy part. If you casually drop someone's name into conversation more than usual, you're basically hacking their reward system. Not in a weird telemarketer way, "Hello, Jennifer. How are you today, Jennifer?" But just enough that their brain starts associating you with that little chemical high. You say their name when you greet them. You use it when you're asking them something personal. You sneak it in when you're making them laugh. Their subconscious starts connecting you with feeling seen. And humans are pathetically desperate to feel seen. We'll forgive almost anything from someone who remembers our name at a party. We'll develop entire emotional attachments to baristas who write it correctly on our cups. Basically, you're Pavlov and they're the dog, except the bell is their own identity and the treat is your attention. Congratulations, you're manipulative now. Number 7, strategic disappearing acts. Now here's something your brain does that's absolutely unhinged. It values things when they're almost gone. Scarcity principle. It's why limited edition sneakers cost more than a used car, and why people lose their minds over McDonald's discontinued sauces. Now apply this to human interaction. If you're always available, always texting back instantly, always free to hang out, always there, your brain becomes the psychological equivalent of gas station candy. Sure, it's nice, but who cares? It's always there. But if you pull back strategically, if you're engaged and present one day, then mysteriously busy the next, their brain panics. Suddenly, you're not gas station candy anymore. You're that limited edition thing they might lose access to. The uncertainty creates what psychologists call intermittent reinforcement, which is the same mechanism that makes gambling addictive and slot machines profitable. You're not playing hard to get in some cringy 1950s dating manual way. You're just creating space, letting them wonder what you're doing, giving their imagination room to obsess. Because here's the thing. When someone's not sure if you have their attention, they'll spend an embarrassing amount of mental energy trying to get it back. You've essentially turned yourself into a push notification they can't ignore. Dark? Maybe. Effective? Unfortunately.
Number 6, mirroring their weird. Humans are narcissists in disguise. We don't want someone who's perfect. We want someone who's a reflection of us. It's why people date others with similar hobbies, similar humor, similar levels of emotional damage. Subtle mirroring is basically identity cosplay. You match their body language. They lean in, you lean in. They cross their arms, you cross yours a few seconds later. You adopt their speech patterns, their limb phrases, their rhythm. Not like a creepy parrot, but enough that their subconscious picks up on it. Studies show that people who are subtly mirrored feel more understood, more connected, more comfortable. And comfort is where obsession breeds, because obsession isn't about excitement, it's about finding someone who feels like home, even if that home is slightly unhinged. You can mirror their values too. They care about environmental stuff? Suddenly, you're very interested in sustainability. They're into weird, obscure music? Time to explore that genre. You're not faking, you're just highlighting the parts of yourself that overlap with them, like a Venn diagram designed to trap someone's attention. Their brain starts thinking, wow, we're so similar, we just get each other. Meanwhile, you're out here playing psychological chess while they think it's checkers.
Number 5, the vulnerability trap. People don't bond over success. They bond over struggle, over embarrassment, over that time you accidentally called your teacher mom in 3rd grade and wanted to dissolve into the floor. Strategic vulnerability is like emotional flypaper. You share something personal, not trauma dumping on the first date, but something real, a fear, a failure, a moment where you were human and messy. And here's the psychological trick. When you're vulnerable with someone, they feel closer to you. But also, and this is the creepy part, they feel compelled to reciprocate. It's called the reciprocation of disclosure. You show them a piece of your inner world, and their brain goes, "Oh, I guess we're doing this now," and they share something back. Suddenly, you've skipped like 15 levels of small talk and gone straight to the part where you're both pretending you're in an indie movie about emotionally complex people. And once someone has shared something vulnerable with you, they're psychologically invested. They've given you ammunition, not to use against them, but in the sense that they've trusted you. And trust creates attachment. Attachment creates obsession. Obsession creates someone texting you at 2 a.m. about their childhood dog. You've essentially speed-run intimacy by being selectively honest. It's manipulative, sure, but also kind of beautiful in a dystopian way. Number 4, the push-pull tango. Mixed signals aren't just confusing, they're addictive. Your brain is a meaning-making machine that hates uncertainty. When it can't figure out if someone likes you or not, it goes into overdrive trying to solve the puzzle. The push-pull dynamic is emotional whiplash disguised as chemistry. You're warm and engaged one moment, laughing at their jokes, making eye contact that lasts a half-second too long. Then you're cool and distant the next, taking hours to text back, seeming distracted, acting like you've got somewhere better to be. This activates the same neural pathways as variable reward schedules. Sometimes you get the reward, their attention, sometimes you don't. And that unpredictability, it's crack for your dopamine system. They can't stop thinking about you because their brain is desperately trying to figure out the pattern, trying to decode what they need to do to get consistent access to your warmth. You're not being mean, you're being inconsistent. And inconsistency is weirdly more powerful than being nice all the time. Because when you're predictably nice, you're safe. When you're unpredictably nice, you're a slot machine. And people will pull that lever until their arm falls off. It's basically psychological gambling, except the jackpot is your affection and the casino is whatever coffee shop you're hanging out in. Totally normal. Nothing to see here. Number 3, creating shared secrets. Want to fast-track intimacy? Create a secret. Doesn't have to be huge. Could be an inside joke, a weird observation about someone else, a shared experience that only the two of you understand. Secrets are social superglue. When you share a secret with someone, you're building a private world that exists outside everyone else. It's us versus them psychology, except them is just everyone who isn't in on the joke. And humans are obsessed with being on the inside of something. You manufacture these moments. You point out something absurd at a party and make them swear not to tell anyone. You create a ridiculous nickname for a mutual acquaintance. You share a controversial opinion you'd never say publicly. Suddenly, you're conspirators, partners in crime, two people who have a secret language that excludes the rest of the world. And here's the thing about secrets. They require trust. Once someone trusts you with something, even something stupid, they start trusting you with bigger things. And trust spirals into attachment faster than you can say codependency. You've essentially created a tiny cult with a membership of 2. They're not obsessed with you, they're obsessed with the private universe you've built together, which, let's be honest, is the same thing with extra steps. Number 2, the delayed response effect. Instant gratification is overrated. Your brain doesn't obsess over things it already has. It obsesses over things it's waiting for. That's why cliffhangers work, why people refresh their email, why you check your phone 17 times after sending a risky text. The delayed response plays on something called anticipation anxiety. When you don't text back immediately, their brain enters a low-grade panic mode. Not enough to make them hate you, but enough to make them think about you constantly. Every minute that passes, their imagination is writing fan fiction about why you haven't responded. Are you busy? Are you talking to someone else? Did they say something wrong? Are you thinking about them right now the way they're thinking about you? Their brain is doing Olympic-level mental gymnastics, and you're just living your life. or pretending to. Then when you do respond, warm, engaged, like nothing weird happened, they get a massive dopamine hit. Relief floods their system. You're back! They didn't mess it up! And that emotional roller coaster, it's memorable. Way more memorable than someone who just texts back, "Hey," in 3 seconds. You're training them to value your attention by making it slightly harder to get. It's supply and demand, except the commodity is your emotional availability. Capitalism has ruined romance, but at least you can exploit the principles. Number 1. The future projection trick. This one is diabolical. You casually drop references to future plans, not in a way that's like, "let's get married," but in a, "we should totally check out that new restaurant next month," or "you'd love this band I'm seeing in the fall." Little throwaway comments that imply you see them in your future. Here's why it works. The human brain is terrible at distinguishing between imagination and reality. When you mention a future scenario that includes them, their brain visualizes it. They picture themselves at that restaurant with you. They imagine going to that concert. And once they've mentally rehearsed a future with you in it, they're emotionally invested in making that future happen. You're essentially planting seeds of attachment disguised as casual plans. They start thinking about you not just as a present tense person, but as someone woven into their upcoming life. And the more they imagine future scenarios with you, the more their brain treats those scenarios as probable, as expected. Then they start planning around you, holding dates in their calendar, thinking, "Ooh, I should tell them about this." You've occupied mental real estate without paying rent. It's forward momentum without pressure. It's commitment without asking for commitment. You're tricking their brain into auditioning you for a long-term role by making them imagine the movie trailer. And the scariest part is, once someone's imagined a future with you, rejecting you means rejecting that entire imagined future. So they hold on tighter. They invest more. They start doing the obsessing for you. You've reverse-engineered attachment by making them complicit in their own emotional investment, which is either genius or sociopathic, depending on your moral compass and how many true crime podcasts you listen to. That's all for today. I'll be making more videos like this, so subscribe if you don't want to miss them.